What is an IIT graduate doing on a film set?
I'm probably living my best life on a film set.
What's a question you wish interviewers would stop asking women directors?
Yeah, I mean, the question is, how does it feel to be a woman director?
Next time you should ask the interviewer, how does it feel to be a male interviewer?
Interviewer.
Have you ever clashed with a producer over your creative vision? I mean, I know you have.
Actually, there's a trick I use.
As a producer, we know this tactic.
Yeah. You gave me enough legs and enough wings to fly in this industry. Right from diploma film, where we wanted to go and shoot in some really obscure station with a very big actor, and we fought like mad. But
Shh, everybody else will listen. I don't want them to listen. In the history of Whistling Woods International, there are very few alumni who have a story quite like hers. From IIT Kanpur to getting a very comfortable job in Microsoft in the US, she left that all behind to come to India to follow her dreams on a film set. Picture this. Here is a woman director who struck out on her own, creating an independent vision of science fiction in India in her first film, Cargo. She then followed that up with the sensational hit, Mrs., which sparked many a conversation in many a household across the country and indeed across the world. My name is Rahul Puri. I am the Director of Academics at Whistling Woods International, and I have 10 questions for Arati Kadav. Hi Arati, welcome.
thank you for such a lovely introduction.
Thank you for
Yeah.
taking the time to do this. What is an IIT graduate doing on a film set?
I'm probably living my best life on a film set. I think I'm most alive when I'm on a film set, even on a set like this. I think it's sort of my self-actualization comes when I'm on the set. I think since childhood I've had a lot of passion for filmmaking, for telling stories. And I think I had a lot of other passions also, like for music, and it all came together when I started making films. So I feel that I'm most alive when I'm, making films. I was very fortunate also that I went to a film school, Whistling Woods, and I learned filmmaking there, and I learned working together as a team. A lot of my teammates from film school have become my, close collaborators. So it's like the most comfortable place for me.
So when you were at IIT,
Yeah.
were you dreaming of a film set?
No, I was too bogged down by all the assignments there, and but I was still very fascinated with movies, even when I was in IIT. I remember I was the only one watching like films like Eternal Sunshine, and I'm seeing like nobody else is around me, but I was like so fascinated by unique stories. And I thought that filmmaking is a very powerful medium. Language, even spoken language, has so much limit. I feel as a film, as a language, is so much richer than any other language in the world. So I felt that that was the best way, and I have been more or less an introvert. So for me, the best way to communicate what I feel was, making films. And I think going to IIT or engineering in general is a bent of mind. It's not that just because you learned X, Y, Z. In fact, there are very few engineers who even do what they learned in their colleges. Like the projects they work on are sometimes very different than what the projects they worked on in college, but it does lends you to a bent of mind. And I think it is also a life experience, and the more experience you bring to your filmmaking journey, the richer your films are.
How do you tell a senior actor that the take they just gave you doesn't work? How do you tell them that, listen, we need another one?
Yeah. No, I do actually. I approach my actors with a lot of respect, because for me, I think acting is the toughest job, because you're performing on the spot. Even as a director, I have prepared, or I'm not there like with 100 people staring at me and performing at that point. So I definitely have a initial relationship of a lot of respect. The way I usually approach with my actors, especially for any role, is I always have a conversation with them beforehand, and I like to feed beforehand what I want, and the tone I want for the film, or and we do have several readings. But there are times still when we come on the set, the actor performs completely opposite of how I envisioned, and only way I can do is I can ask them for a retake. I can say that let's give a very I have found a smart way of doing it. Okay, let's try another variation. This is great, but let's try another variation. And you have to get a film. And sometimes it's tough also. There are a lot of actors who refuse to. I've worked in films where the actors have refused to give it my variation because they say, मैं ये variation दूंगा तो आप वही use करोगे, like, you know. And then, you know, you have to figure out a way to navigate that. And I think that's where the soft skills of being a director come into play. You have to continue to be respectful, but you have to keep insisting that let's do it this way, this will match better, you know, things
And
like
I suppose that there is the process of building trust with the actor,
Yeah,
so that
yeah.
you know when you do tell them
Yeah.
that you want
In
that
fact,
take.
once I had this experience where I had lost the battle. The actor just didn't give me the take I wanted, and that's the battle for that scene I'd lost. But I didn't want to lose the battle for the entire film, so I decided to find that 1 hour to be in his vanity van when he was getting ready and spend time with him and talk to him for a very long time, find out more about him, talk to him about his interest. And then when he came on the set, he was more loosened up and he was like more open to suggestions. So one has to find different ways to make things work for yourself.
You made a sci-fi film as your
Yes.
debut in India.
Yes.
How did you convince people to back it, including
Yes.
me? You know, people might not know, but Cargo was
Produced
shot here
and produced by
in
Rahul.
Whistling Woods.
Yeah.
You know, and sci-fi is, generally speaking, a male
Yeah.
dominated
Yeah.
genre.
Yeah.
Direction in India is, again, generally speaking, a male dominated
Yeah.
genre.
Yeah.
Here's you, a young girl,
Yeah.
deciding that you're going to straddle both of these things. Your first film.
Yeah.
How did you get people to get on board?
I think I only approached really nice people. That was my strategy. Really strong feminist people, but also really people who would take leap of faith in me. And I think one thing also you missed saying that, like, not just my first feature, you supported me through all my short films. That means you gave me enough legs and enough wings to fly in this industry. But you have supported me right from diploma film, where we wanted to go shoot in some really obscure station with a very big actor and we fought like mad. But
remember.
you have always supported me, you know, through every short film. And I think the short
Shh,
films,
everybody else will listen. I don't want them to listen.
so the short films also did help as a proof of concept. But I think I had a very long working relationship with you, and I derived a lot of confidence from you supporting me. For me, that was the seed set, like, you know, as I say, that you have something you have at the center that is anchoring your ambition, and then you are like, there's so much things in the air, right? Like, you know, making a film, like a day before the shoot, also special independent film, of even forget about independent, even like proper commercial films, anything can go wrong and the film can, you know, might not happen. But I was anchoring on you very strongly.
Why the love? Why the fascination of sci-fi? Because, you know, for me, you know, you'd just done Time Machine.
Yes.
In the studio
Yeah.
here.
In Whistling Woods.
In Whistling Woods. And that was the first
Yeah.
sci-fi film that you
Yeah.
had done. The other films that you'd made here were not sci-fi. And that gave me a lot of confidence
Yeah.
that, you know, I could see
Yeah.
Cargo, what it was going to be. What is the sci-fi fascination? You've kind of become the sci-fi girl in
Yeah.
the industry. What's the
I think
what
it's
is that
like, you know,
fascination?
pehla pyar koi bhulta. Like, I wrote my first feature film, which was a sci-fi, which has never been made and still not made. Even now, like last week, I was pitching it to someone. Please make my first. So, but while I was writing my first feature film, which was a sci-fi, I think I met few people and they would ask me that, so what other sci-fi directors you like, which sci-fi authors you read, and I usually wouldn't have any answer because that story, even though it was a sci-fi, it came very naturally to me. So to support, you know, pitching that story and to make that story stronger, I started reading a lot of sci-fi and I started watching a lot of sci-fi. So I got really fascinated by it, and I think it also came naturally to me because I do have an engineering background, so, you know, designing systems or whatever. And of course, I have always had love for magic and for mythology. You know, I grew up reading Amar Chitra Katha. So these were also my foundation. You know, how I saw my first stories were like heavy mythological stories. You know, everybody takes it so seriously. People get so worried that it's sci-fi, let's do it like that. I said, let's just have fun. Like as I have mentioned, like Eternal Sunshine or Michel Gondry, directors like him or Terry Gilliam, they are not very worried about getting it perfect. But still the story holds because they are so consistent in their thought and in their design. Even if it's lo-fi sci-fi.
What's a question you wish interviewers would stop asking women directors?
Yeah, I mean, the question is, how does it feel to be a woman director? And like, I just feel as a human being, I don't feel differently about being a director just because I'm a woman, Kind of, I have no answer to that because I don't know how it feels to be a male director and what is the difference. Yeah, but I do understand where the question is coming from. It's coming from a very good place because there are very few women directors and we have to work towards it. But yeah, so
what's your typical response to that? It
I
feels
just,
good. It feels great.
Yeah, it feels same as a male director would feel like. But I also say that usually for women it takes longer to enter rooms and win trust of the room. If a journey that would have taken like maybe 2 years takes 4 years, sometime.
Next time you should ask the interviewer, how does it feel to be a male interviewer?
Yeah.
When they ask that question. What is the weirdest review you have read about any of your films? I have to say, when Mrs. released,
Yeah.
I wouldn't call them reviews, but there were some fairly bizarre comments that were left on the social media. And it doesn't have to be a full review, but can you give us what is the...
No, I had 2 reviews, one for Cargo and one for Mrs. Both, and they both were so Cargo's review was it's frame by frame copy of Passengers, which is not even I don't know which film, how is it frame by, it's 2 different film, it's not even the same story, it's some crisp platforms. So I was how it was frame by frame, I don't know. So that was one thing. And the second for Mrs. was the same thing, it's a frame by frame copy of Great Indian Kitchen. I was how can you do frame by frame copy of anything? It's an adaptation, it's official adaptation.
How do you deal with criticism in general? I mean, I'm not saying that filmmakers necessarily read every comment that's posted about them. But there are some, shall we say, relatively respected film reviewers. And when they write something, and again, they might not write an entirely negative piece, but when they write something related to your work, how do you deal with that criticism?
No, I have actually very human response. I feel very sad. I get very sad. And I have, because we work very hard. For us, it's a miracle that the film exists, It is a long journey to even make your first film and then get your film out there. And I remember in Cargo, the international reception was so good. I was getting calls from Annapurna Pictures and Shudder, and they're going gaga, and it was South by Southwest hit. The top critics of the world were saying such nice things. And when it came in India, the reviewers were good, but some reviews were very harsh. And I think the general population reception was also mixed. So it used to break my heart. It's what did I miss? Why it worked there, and why was I so confident that it will work as crazily here?
So is your natural instinct to be inward looking? Don't you get angry at the reviewers?
No, I get very... I try to understand where the person is coming from, and I get very sad.
I find sometimes that the reviewers will have seen a 2.5-hour film and they'll pick at one line in a 2.5-hour film.
And their state of mind also impacts how they read the film. Even in Mrs., it was doing so well, and then there were few people who were constantly they made an agenda to bash Mrs. So sometimes you feel also that why you're making an agenda against a film, against us who have worked so hard, have been bruised and made a film. You didn't like it, just write it and try to be kind or whatever and just move on. But some people will be constantly on the Twitter this, but this. I said, where is that so much hatred coming from? If I like it, I go and say, wow, it's amazing. If I don't like it, I don't make it a point to say such nasty things. And I don't know where that hatred comes from, because you don't even know the person who's getting affected by that hatred.
What's something women directors go through that you don't think male directors experience, good or bad?
I think women it takes a lot of time for people to, have confidence in women and their vision. They would say that, if they want a woman's vision to fit their idea of things, and if you're going beyond that, they feel that maybe she doesn't know it, or so for a male director they would become fans, like, wow, I can't believe they think like that. But for a woman, it takes time for people to trust that you can think something out of the box and it might just work. So I think that confidence, and I see not just at a level of management level, I feel that even day to day, sometimes even working with my direction team, sometimes I feel that, oh my god, is this guy doubting me? Am I getting that feeling that is this person doubting what I'm saying? And then I go back, and I remember this had happened during Mrs. when we were trying to do something. There's this one scene where there's the Sardarji appears, and he is and that was like completely my scene, like it's something I really wanted in the film, and everybody was like, what is going on, why this? And there were so many doubts. And I remember that day I came to the set, and by the time from the entry gate of the set to the the room where we were shooting, I met like 120 150 people. And then I was like, all these people here, because they trust that I'll make a good film, so I should also trust that I'm going to make a good film and show up as myself and shoot that scene as myself. Because it's such a collaborative medium, you do feed off the energy you get from the team.
Have you ever clashed with a producer over your creative vision? I mean, I know you have. And who usually wins? If I were to go a little bit further, how do you win?
So actually, there's a trick I use. I choose 10 things, out of which 8 things I don't care very strongly about, and 2 things I very strongly care about.
As a producer, we know this tactic.
Yeah. So I try to lose 8 battles, and then I say, 8 itna aapka suna, ek to mera sun lo, like, and they also, by that time, they felt like, yeah, I mean, we are also being very weird, not listening to anything they say. So you approach in order of what you want, and also, as a producer is also surrounded by 10 people, like, so first win confidence of those 10 people, get them on board, and find a way to do it in a most amicable way. I try to do it in a most amicable way.
Question from a second-year Whistling Woods student. We're finding ways to get the students involved. And they've asked a very interesting question, which is, I'd like your perspective on it. Are short films dead? And does it even make sense to go ahead and make one in today's environment?
I don't know, I made 9 short films, so I think short films give me oxygen. It kind of helps me hone my craft. It helps me build my team. There's so many advantages of making a short film because it's a non-pressure environment. You fail and then you hide your short film. If you're successful, you showcase your short film. It feels like a smaller problem, but it becomes a bigger problem when you're making your first film. It's the team you work with. The more short films you make, your team becomes solid, and that is like, they are like the spine of your your first film's journey. I think for me, the short films help me build my team, and of course, like, also find and refine my voice.
Okay, another question from a first-year Whistling Woods student this time. If you weren't a film director, what other job on the set would you do?
I think I would be a very good script supervisor.
When you were in film school and you were doing the foundation course, the master's foundation course,
yeah.
Apart from direction, what was your second choice? We used to put those choices
yes.
down. What was your second choice?
Mine was editor. I'm a very good editor. I really think I'm a very good editor. My films, they don't make sci-fi enough, I should just get into editing. And I really get very involved in editing. I think editing is also a very good way to learn directions. You understand pacing, you see all your mistakes, you see other people's mistakes.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks.
Thank
you so
10
much.
questions. Well, that was a fantastic conversation with Arati. I hope it gave you a little bit of insight in terms of what it means to be a director and all the challenges that she has had to face. I hope that inspires you in some way. If you enjoyed this content, follow me on a journey talking to many other professionals in the film and entertainment industry, talking to them about the challenges and indeed the opportunities that exist in this industry. I'm Rahul Puri. See you next time.